So today was a interesting day for me. The last couple of weeks actually has been really interesting for me. Last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, I had to put down my dog, and that was an oddly emotional time. And like, I always joke that she was my soul dog, and uh, she was a beautiful blue heeler, if you know anything about blue heelers, they're called Velcro dogs because they latch onto a single person, and well, I was her person. Um, she was an absolute terror, but I loved her, and I really struggled with that because um, we put her down on her third birthday, and like that tore me apart, and it was just like I didn't know what to do. Like, she was so sick. She had lost half of her body weight almost, and she was just so sick. And the vet still had no idea what was wrong with her. But yeah, then almost immediately right after that, I think it was the next day, found out that my mom went into the hospital. Um, if anybody has been watching this for any sort of time, I was raised in a dual alcoholic home. My dad died when I was 15 years old from a seizure. I used to have epilepsy. Um, but my mom, she's been battling alcoholism my entire life, but it's been particularly bad the last 13 years. That's when she shifted from beer to vodka. She has been on death's doorstep probably 20 times. Um, but today she finally passed. Man, that's hard to say. She finally passed. Um, she passed today. Now let's rewind 4 months ago. I get a call from my siblings that this is it. She's gone. She's going to be gone. Um, her blood alcohol level when she came into the hospital like 2 days after she hadn't had a drink, she was like a 0.18, 0.018, like whatever the legal limit is, like three times that. Um, and it was like, okay, all right, okay. And then she had fallen, she had broken her face, like she looked awful, and she had bleeding in her brain and then also internal bleeding on her hip. And it was like, well, she's going through withdrawals, and her she's not going to survive it. And so I got on a plane. I flew up to Iowa, and um, I spent the next 3 days with her, speaking life over her. I just really felt that's what God was telling me to do, was speak life. Now, once again, it's stuff that I've talked about in these videos, is speaking life is truth, hard truths. Is everyone loves you. All of your kids, like, we have pushed you away. You haven't seen your grandbabies, but we love you and we want nothing but for you to be healthy. And the last day in the hospital, found out like she could still live. Like, she still has liver function. Like, now's the time. And I poured out my soul and just let her know that We want you to live, but you have to want to live for yourself. If you don't change, you will die in your house and your mother will find you. Those were insanely true words that I had. And when she got out of the hospital, I was like, "What's your plan? What's your plan?" Because she said she wanted to. And I was like, "What's your plan?" She was like, "I'm going to get through this and then I'm going to go back to my house." I'm like, "You go back to that house. You're as good as dead." Once again, speaking life. That doesn't sound like life, but it's the truth. And it's what she needed to hear. And she struggled. She's just like, "I'm different." I'm like, "How are you different?" She's like, "I actually need the alcohol." I'm like, "That is the most hot garbage ever. Like, you were a nurse for 35 years. Tell me where in any of your classes they say you need alcohol to live." It's silent. Oh, a few weeks ago, she fell off the wagon. And then she fell again. And she broke her hip. She broke her face again. This time, when she got to the hospital, found out that she has had heart disease and needed an operation, but couldn't operate on her because of the state that she was in. She broke her femur right at her where it comes to their hip. Needed surgery. Can't give her surgery when she was in the state, and she was officially had cirrhosis. Her liver was failing. She was on life support for 10 days. Yesterday, they pulled her off life support, off her ventilator. And it took her about 24 hours. She wasn't even supposed to make it through the night. So, what do I tell all this? And I'm not even giving you the gist of what it was like growing up with an alcoholic parent. Like, I'm praying that if you're watching this, like, this is sinking in. But my mom went through so much trauma when she was young. Um, she got married young. Her husband ended up, um, his best friend died, so he got into drugs. She went out and had an affair. Then she got pregnant. She ended up leaving her husband. He ultimately ended up, I think, committing suicide. And then she was stuck with this guy that she had the affair with because she got pregnant. And then he was abusive. Um, like, that's a lot of garbage. And one thing she always told me, at least, was that she never felt loved by her parents. So that's a, like, that right there unto itself is a lot of trauma. I understand why she became an alcoholic. In my testimony, um, the main thing I was addicted to was pornography and lust. This is that search of feeling loved, right? Um, so I can understand how she would want to kill all of those bad feelings. Um, I fought my addiction. I fought it and lost every time. And when I was telling my mom, "You need to have a plan. You are not going to do this on your own." And I was speaking life over her. I was like, Jesus, like, Jesus is what got me through my addiction. He broke those chains, and he can do it for you too. I sent her like a really nice Bible and wrote out some letter. I wrote out this letter with a bunch of scripture on it. It's just like, if you seek him, you will find him. And even after all that, the doctors were clear. You cannot go back to drinking. Like, it will be the end of you, and it turned out to be 100% true. You're worth it. I am praying to God that you, if you're fighting with addiction, you're watching this, you're worth it. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what you have experienced. You are worth it. And Jesus wants to redeem you. And I plead with you that you just open your heart to something different, because the life that you're living is going to hurt all the people around you, all the people that said that they're done, that only want to see you get better. It's only going to hurt them. So, Father, whoever's watching this and needs to watch it, I don't care if it's one, I don't care if it's 100, because you left the 99 for the one. And I'm leaving the 99 for that one. Father, I just pray that they reach out to you, that they hear the name Jesus Christ and they don't flinch. Instead, they put their arms out and say, "Come for me," because you already have. I pray that you, as the Redeemer, as the Forgiver, find this person and bring them home. It's like the prodigal son. Amen. So, uh, genuinely know that I have no idea who you are, but I love you as a human being. Something broke in me tonight. Broken people. There's an answer. And his name is Jesus. And it, like, for the longest time, I always thought that was the weak option. No. It's the best, hardest thing you're ever going to do, but it's also the easiest. Give up. Give up to God. He'll make you whole. Leave a comment, likes, share, whatever. I will talk to anybody about this. You got hard questions, great. Let's figure them out together. Pray for you.